Hey YouTube, this is the review of How to Get Away with Murder, Season 6, Episode 2, and it's called Vivian is Here. Vivian being Gabriel's mother, who we saw pop up last episode. So now we're going to see what's going on with her. The episode starts out with this is the last year for law school for everybody, and they are doing the class case for the Keating Five and all that, and it is for um, Hector Diaz, and he is seeking asylum because of the gang violence and wherever he's from. I can't remember where he's from, but it's like an immigration or something. It was holding him, and he's seeking asylum. So from there, Asher and the rest of the class asks, okay, well, where's Laurel and where's Michaela? She's not here. So who's going to be heading off in with the Keating Five in the case? So Annalise said, I'm not giving away Michaela's seat. She's just sick and she's just at home sick. And Laurel, she was like, okay, the person who can get Laurel's spot is the person who was closest the last time to get the spot last semester, last year. So Asher's back in and he gets Laurel's spot. So he's on it or whatnot. So from there, Annalise walks out and then she calls Michaela trying to find out like why you ain't in class. I know you mad at me, but don't think I won't fail you. You not showing up to my class, I will fail you. So she's like, whatever. She's like, I'm telling you, I did not know your father or blah, blah, blah. She's like, whatever. So she hung up on her. She's whatever. Michaela being kind of childish. But anyway. But it is kind of a coincidence. Like, okay, what do you mean? Like, because, it jumps back. So when she was like, oh, if you knew my father, then I'm gonna kill you last episode. And then she's like, I'm trying to tell you, I didn't know your father. I didn't know your father. So she claims she was just an intern in Tennessee back then on the case, but she didn't know him personally. So it's supposed to be a coincidence. So I'm like, all right, Annalise. Okay. So from there, and it jumps to Oliver and Michaela trying to at home or at Michaela's apartment or wherever they at, or maybe Connor's apartment and Oliver's apartment, trying to look up her father and her birth father and trying to see, where he is. He's like, why do you want to find him? Didn't he shoot your mama? And she was like, that's what I've been told, but who knows if that's actually the truth. Black men get locked up every day and you never know if it actually, he actually did it or not. So she just wants to know for herself and find out and talk to him herself and get some clarification because her mama did. So she don't know, and that's the only person who she can ask. From there, Vivian walks up on Annalise while she on campus, and she was like, what'd she say? Just talking about some, you took my husband and now you got to take my son too. She's like, I didn't want your son. I didn't even know who he was until he came up to me and started talking to me and all that. Like, she didn't even know. I'm like, which is true. Like, Gabriel came and coming after her for answers. He did not know. I mean, she did not know that Gabriel, and she never contacted them. Like, it's just by coincidence. That really is a coincidence. I don't know about the Michaela thing, but whatever. So Vivian claims that Sam was about to leave her for Annalise until she dropped the bomb of her being pregnant. And then Sam says that he was going to break up with Annalise because of that. And then she says that she told him no and sent him his walking papers back to Annalise. But I'm like, okay, girl, whatever. So from there, then she just busts out telling me, did you kill Sam? Why everybody think she killed Sam? I mean, I guess. I'm like, Sam didn't. I mean, he was cheating on her, but they like he used to beat her or do anything horrible to her. It's really weird that everybody just really think that she killed Sam. But okay. Okay, so we jump to Frank. Frank is trying to, he got that key that was on the back of the photo of Laurel and Christopher, her son, her little West son. and he's at the it's a safety deposit box key. So he's at the place where the key goes to, and he's trying to get in there. He's like, oh, I've already reported her missing to the police, and I'm not really getting any answers, and I found this key, and I would like to, could you please help me out and let me get into the box or whatnot? And she was like, I'm sorry, I can't. She was like, only Laurel and one other authorized user are allowed to the box, and without you being confirmation and not being on this list, I cannot let you gain access to this box. So that was a dead end. So we got to find another way to try to get into that safety deposit box, or to find out what it is. Okay. Then they're at the law firm, and Asher and Connor are now because they were, walking down the hallway trying to argue what the best angle is to try to get the little Hector Diaz person on the trying to get him asylum. So I think Connor's idea was to what was it? I forgot what his idea was, but Annalise liked it, and she chose him and I guess because due to the gang violence and something for his safety or whatnot, to just get him asylum. So him and Connor are on the case, are first and second chair on the case. From there, Annalise finally sees, or Tegan comes in her office like, hey girl, how was California and all that. We all know that she did not go, for leisure. Annalise went to rehab. Tegan knows this too. But she was just trying to, talk to Annalise, and Annalise gets a call or gets a text from Nate and talking about I need to meet with you at your house in 15 minutes. So she's like, damn, I gotta go. She's like, I'm your boss now. You need to be trying to entertain me and listen to me or whatnot. She's like, I'm sorry, I'll be a good employee tomorrow. She was like, I really don't want to. Well, and after Annalise just leave, she's like, she didn't really want to employee. She wants a friend, because she just really wants to talk to Annalise, I guess, and do some girl talk. I don't know, maybe she's lonely. So from there, let me see. They go to meet with the client, Asher and Connor, and they're like, where's the client at? And turns out that the client is a child. He is an 8-year-old little boy, and he only speaks Spanish, and they don't speak Spanish, so they can't communicate with this boy. So they call Tegan, because she's Afro-Latina, and she they call her to talk to the boy. And let me see, wants to be, she's called her to be the translator. The little boy is drawing a picture, and she was like, is that the person who tried to harm you or threaten you or something? And he was like, yeah, he wasn't really talking, but she was like, what's the name of the person who was, coming after you and all that? And the little boy draws on the chest of the drawing of the man, ICE. So it was like, oh, that's the wrong people. We want to implicate like some gang members or some like, not like local authorities, pretty much like that. So they need to come up with another way to get this boy asylum. Okay. So from there, so Annalise goes and she talks to Gabriel. She's like, your mother's in town. Oh, when she comes back and she's in her office, and she's like, I need to talk to Gabriel. Let me talk to you. Your mother's here. And he was like, what? Why? What's she here for? He's like, I don't know. You need to go talk to your mama and find out. I don't know why she is here or whatnot. So that happens, and he was all discombobulated because he want to know why his mom here. But remember, he was lying to her all the time. So she came to check up on you and see what you're doing, because you've been lying, obviously. And now she know everything that you've been doing. Not everything he's been doing, but yeah. So we go to see Frank. We jump to Frank, and Frank, he's on the phone with Bonnie, and they were talking about, okay, Vivian's in town, and there's another file on Vivian, that is sealed. And she was like, "Do you know what's in?" He's like, "No, I don't know. That was just the one file that he Frank made a whole file up on Vivian, and there was one sealed file that he could not get into." And she was like, she's trying to figure out what's on it, what's in the file. And she's like, "Where you at?" He's like, "Oh, my father is got into it with some loan sharks or some type of stuff, so I'm up here trying to get him situated and get him out of trouble." She like, "All right." But he is really at a prison. I'm like, who he going to see in jail? Turns out he's going to see Jorge Castillo, Laurel's father. And he's like, "Where's Laurel at?" And he was like, "I don't know where she is. Why you sitting here talking to me, acting like you don't know where she at?" And he's like, "I don't know where she is. Um, don't you think somebody," I forgot who said, "somebody took her?" He's like, "Look, I told you the same thing I told the FBI. I do not know where she is." And he just be talking real harsh and hard about Laurel, but like Laurel is really hard to read because you'll think that she care and or about you or whatever, and the way she does men, it's just like she's like a man eater. That's like the trend with her of how she does men or whatnot, because her father was like, "Yeah, I see that look in your eyes, the same look that I used to have from when Laura was a little, from the day she was a little girl. She used to just be cruel to him and he didn't know why, and she wouldn't love me, and I don't know, it's just like she's gonna destroy me because she's put me in here and she's punishing me and I don't know why." He was like, "You put yourself here. Laurel did not put you here." He's like, "No." He's like, "You sitting here worried." He's like, "I tried to get baby Christopher. You need to be worried about him if you're gonna be worried about something, because I wanted to get him away from her. I tried to get him away from her, her and West baby." So Frank is just like puzzled. Okay, he's like, "Okay, so that was a dead end, going to talk to Laurel's father, because he didn't really have any answers." So Annalise ends up telling Gabriel to go back home to Chicago with his mama. And he's like, "No, I don't want to go anywhere with her. My whole life, she's always, just been on drugs, and she's been on drugs my whole life, and I never want nothing to do with her and whatnot. She never told me the truth, blah, blah, blah." So he was like, well, Annalise encourages him to just forgive his mother, and he does not want to. And he like, "Nah, whatever. I'm done with her. She didn't have her chances, and she's just been a horrible mama this whole time, and whatever." So that was that. Okay. Oh, and there's another scene where Michaela, when Gabriel and Michaela were at his house. Well, she comes over to his house and they was trying to get it in or whatnot. And she was like, she's stressed because of Annalise won't tell her the truth about her mama or her daddy. And he's stressed about his mama. And then from there, Vivian pops up at the door and she's like, trying to talk to Gabriel, and then Michaela leave, her shirt all undone or whatnot. And she's trying to talk to him, Gabriel, and he don't really want to talk to her. And he's just like, "You need to get out of my house. I don't want to talk to you. I don't really want nothing to do with you." She's like, "Why were you lying to me?" She's like, "You lied to me. You said that my dad did this and that he wasn't around, but he did come back for us." And then he told her about that scene from seasons ago where he met Sam, and Sam was in the hallway, and then the grandmama rushed him back in the house, like, "Get back in here." And then she was like, "I promise you, I did not know that, your grandmama, even, she never told me that he came or whatnot, but I'll tell you anything you want to know now. Sam was a really bad man, and I didn't want him being around you. I don't want you to learn how to be a man from a bad one. So, but anything you want to know now, I'll tell you." He's like, "No, I ain't got time." He's like, "I'm not the person who I am because of you. I'm the person I am in spite of you." So he just kicked her out or whatever, was done talking to her. That scene happened like a while before. So Annalise is trying to figure out a way to get Gabriel to leave. Asher comes up with the bright idea, because when Michaela comes home after hanging out with Gabriel, she's like, "Oh, Gabriel told me that he, or and more than words, kind of said that he kind of killed Vivian, his mama boyfriend, who OD'd on pills or whatever. So she tells that to, Oliver and all them at the house. So Asher gives this information to Annalise. And so she thinks about that and whatnot. So then Nate calls Annalise and he was like, I told you someone right about Tegan because for some reason, but last episode, Tegan seemed really shady. Like when she was the whole thing with Emmett and her like boy bye and all that. So I was giving Tegan a side eye last episode too. She seemed a little bit more genuine this episode, but she wasn't really doing much or whatever. But Nate calls her because he's spying on Tegan and he says that she is talking to Vivian. I'm like, damn, she making her rounds, Miss Viv, Aunt Viv, or whatever. She is making her rounds and she's talking to Tegan and whatnot. So, but Vivian actually came to Tegan trying to say that Annalise could be a bad look for the law firm because she could be in with some illegal activity. And I know if my son was involved with her and he gets implicated, I'ma sue you. So she's trying to put a bad word out on Annalise or whatnot. And I'm like, okay, girl, is this what you came to town for? It's just like, it seems like she has an ulterior motive, or if she's just trying to sling Annalise's name through the dirt. But she was like, a lot of people say stuff about Annalise. We not worried about it, blah, 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 blah. So that's Tegan kind of just push it off as a grain of salt. And then she goes back, to the law firm and talks to Annalise. And Annalise is asking Tegan, like, are you playing me? And she was like, are you serious? Like, why would I be playing with you? I am the only person who is like your friend in this law firm. And I came straight and told you this. Like, you need to trust me. Like, if we're going to be cool, I need to know that you trust me or whatnot. But she was just like, it just seems kind of weird that she's sitting there talking to Vivian or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But Annalise goes and reassures her that she does trust her, Tegan. So that was that there. What else? So Michaela is in Virginia looking for her father because through the research that her and Oliver did, that the last records of where he is led because I guess during Katrina he got lost in the system, and the last records of where he is in Virginia. So while she's sitting there waiting to see if her father is there, what's going on, what information she can get about him, Gabriel calls her and tells her like, oh, my mom, Annalise told me that I should just, go back to Chicago. What do you think? And then she was like, well, I think that's the, something you need to figure out for yourself. And he was like, why does it seem like you're pushing me away? I thought what we had was real and we were getting closer, but, so he was just kind of whining a bit. And then they called Michaela names. So she just rushed his ass off the phone and they finished their conversation. So, yeah. Michaela goes up to the clerk or whatever, and they tell Michaela that her father has been transferred. He was transferred 2 years ago to upstate New York. So I'm like, she's just driving and going on a wild goose chase to find her father. But I mean, she determined she really trying to do it because she going from Virginia to, I guess that's not super far, but that's a lot of driving in one day. But anyway. So she goes off on her quest trying to find her father and goes up to upstate New York. During that, Bonnie goes to try to get she doing some research on Vivian, trying to get that. So she falsifies a file on Vivian and takes it to somewhere in the DA office or whatever where she worked in some department to try to get that file unsealed. And she tells the lady like, she's like, why would you want to try to open up this file of such a small little petty crime? She's like, oh, well, since I forgot, somebody was at I forgot who the person's name is, who's in charge right now after all these other DAs and stuff got murdered and killed and everything, is trying to crack down on certain crimes or blah, 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 blah. So she got the file unsealed, and she sees what Vivian's was in Vivian's file. So turns out that Vivian 2 years ago was arrested for drug trafficking. And I'm like, dang, like she don't even seem like she got all this stuff going on with all these drugs, but I guess. And then she's at there at Annalise's house while she goes and tells Annalise this. And she's like, Bonnie, you just need to stop. How did you get these files? She's like, she's like, you need to stop this. They're gonna catch you. And she was like, right about now, it's not a matter of if they're going to catch us all up on all the shit that they've been doing for all these seasons. It's a matter of when. So you need to just really just stop putting all these people, putting everybody in front of you, and just care about yourself. And then Bonnie was like, no. She's like, why did you really come back? She was like, Annalise like, oh, you don't believe that I love you? She's like, no, I know you love me. They have the strangest, weirdest relationship. Her, Bonnie, and Frank. It's just so weird. Like, I don't want that kind of love. It's just it's too twisted. They murdering each other, and it's just, I can't. It's crazy. So from there, Annalise is off in her car somewhere, and Connor and whatnot call her for like advice on the case or whatnot, how they can try the case with Hector Diaz. And she was like, look, I cannot help y'all. Y'all are in y'all last year. You're about to be lawyers, and you're not going to always have me to hold your hand and to lead you in the right way. You need to figure this out for yourself. Then she hang up on them, and all of a sudden she out somewhere in the alley or something in her car buying drugs for some random lady. And I'm like, what the hell? And she bought some meth or whatnot. So she calls, so Frank is at her house, like, Annalise, where you at? And then she was like, I need you to plant this on Vivian. So she's trying to plant drugs on Vivian because, and then she was like, just let me do the rest. Because, oh yeah, Frank has, he's just been going around. Does Frank even have a job? Not Frank. Nate has just been going around just spying on everybody like a creep. I mean, after his father was gone, he just really ain't got no purpose. He don't know what to do with himself. It's just crazy. So he was spying on Vivian or whatever, and she was talking to the FBI. He got a picture of her doing that. So she's trying to get drugs planted on Vivian and wants Frank to do it. Frank was like, no, we're being watched. So he disposes of the drugs, throw it down a garbage disposal. He's like, we can't do that because we don't know. We got to be careful about the moves we make because we are being watched. So we can't just be doing we got to think a little bit more careful before we do all this extra shit. So he tells Annalise about the safety deposit box key and how he found it. And she was like, stop, I know what it is. And she's like, I know whose it is, who has the other key, Wes, because whatever. And it flashes back to when Wes was saying, this is a folder or envelope of everything that happened, everything that did, and me and somebody else has a key to a safety deposit box. If anything ever happens, then, all hell gonna break loose because this is gonna get turned in by the other person. So it turns out that was just him and Laurel. So they have it. From there, Asher and Connor, they're in court, and they came up with a little ploy to show that the little boy Hector Diaz, like, they had somebody come in with like an ICE or police jacket walk up, because they call, like, I like to call so and so to the stand, and he walks up, and the little boy is like frightened and afraid and scared and everything. He was like, this just shows that Hector is in horrible living conditions, and we taking all these kids off at the border, and we're locking them up for no reason. And and he it was more morally repugnant, the fact that these children are treated this way. And the boy only 8 years old, and I mean, it's messed up because it's actually going on in real life. And he mentioned how 8 kids so far have died in these conditions, and it's just morally unethical. And then they brought up how I think in Japanese, how they were in the containment camps and stuff like that, and they used that back in the day when they were doing war with Japan and all that. And he was just arguing all this stuff of how this child should not be in custody like that, and locked away. So he went hard. Connor went hard. Like, I was like, okay, y'all might be some decent lawyers. Y'all ain't no Annalise or nothing, or Michaela, but Michaela, she a little bitch, but she be trying them cases and she is very good. But she be modeling herself after Annalise. But they did really good, and the judge ended up siding not completely with them. She said that she's going to release the child into foster care because he is in awful living conditions and stuff like that, and it's just not right. So from there, and the little boy, I jumped over a part. Oliver came in to see them when they were talking, trying to discuss stuff with the little boy and what to do. And Oliver snuck in a cell phone, and he called his mama. I'm like, dang, how he know his mama's phone number? Like, I promise, I do not even know my mother's, like, barely. No, I don't even think I could say my mama's phone number just off the top of my head. But you know how you're supposed to know like 3 numbers, but with cell phones now it's like really hard to know. Like back in the day, everybody knew everybody's number. Now, not so much. But yeah, so the mom actually knows some English. So they want to try to get her in and get her granted asylum first to do the case. And then get them both, freed and away from the gang violence or whatever they was trying to get away from. So he tells Tegan to tell him, little Hector, like, oh, we're going to get your mama free. And, we promise, and we all going to be back together. And she's like, I don't want to tell him that because she's like, I know you're going to be this cocky around old Annalise and doing all this extra stuff. And then Connor's just really feeling himself and he think he can do it. I mean, he does have some good stuff because he was the only one that was working with Annalise on all the other cases when, she was down and now living in that bogus hotel. But you can't be making this child. The child's like, you promise? And he's like, yes, see, Hector. I'm like, don't be sitting there promising that little boy that stuff. But, oh, well. So that was a win for them that day. Okay. So Michaela goes back, finally gets to upstate New York, to the jail where her father is supposed to be at. And the dude's like, look, we close at 5. It is 5:03 and I'm about to go home. I ain't got time for you. So she's like, please, my father's being held here. She's like, up until a couple of days ago, I didn't care about him or who he was and all this, but now I do. It's my father and I just can't wait enough. She's begging and pleading, like, please let me see my father. I can't wait another day. I need to see him. So he's like, all right, girl, fine. You owe me a pack of beer. And then it jumps to, that's when it jumps to Frank, my bad. Jumps to Frank saying that Vivian's talking to the feds. So then Annalise, once she finds out that she's been talking to the feds, Annalise goes to Vivian and tells her about Gabriel killing her boyfriend. And then they get into this whole spiel about Sam and her, and then it was just real messed up, y'all, because they're both dark-skinned chocolate women, and she was just talking to her about how wait, let me see. Wait, no. Before that scene, let me finish up because it cuts away for a second. Next, it goes to the feds or whatnot, or somebody in Bonnie's office, and then she's like, oh, is there anything else about Ron's case? And then he's like, no, but then they found out that she was falsifying files to get information on Vivian, and then she got fired. She's like, oh, is there anything that I can do? They was like, no, you are terminated immediately. I'm like, damn, so now they ain't got the plug up in there anymore, so that's fucked up. And okay, then it jumps to the whole conversation with Vivian and Annalise, and she was like, I wish I could tell you that after Sam left me, I was good and I had my son and I had this magic and everything was all right. But no, Sam was the magic, and he took everything about me that was ugly and that she didn't like. He saw in her, and it made him love her more. And it was just twisted and weird of how, like, I don't know how I feel about, like, I don't think I like, I don't know, man. It was really weird the way she was saying that, like how she just got this validation and felt so much because of him. And then Annalise was like, I saw the way he looked and smiled at you, and that's when I knew that you were the wife, because Annalise was the side chick. Well, she was the patient that turned into side chick that turned into the wife. But yeah, and he was like, she was like, yeah, and Sam was the one who kissed me and whatnot. So he came after her, and then she was like, but still, I allowed him to, she could have fought, not fought him off, but like said no, but because, I guess she felt that same way. And she's like, look at us, two dark skinned women talking about how some man made us feel and all this. And it was just real sad and bad. Like, I just like the whole thing. But I mean, a lot of women feel like that. I don't know if it's like a color thing or what, like make them feel like worthy or better, like you needed this man to make you feel special and beautiful. Like, girl, no, that just lets you know you need to love yourself. Don't be looking for nobody or no man or anyone, any color to make you feel any better about yourself. And it just shows how twisted, and I mean, it's a messed up reality of how a lot of people do not care about themselves or see themselves some way, and they feel that they need the validation of someone else, who they feel if they get the validation of this person or these people, they feel like, oh, I'm worthy, I'm good. And that's not the case. Y'all, love yourself. Anyway, my bad. I went off on a little rant. That went a little off. I'm sorry. But yeah, back to what's going on. From there, what else? Michaela goes, and the man tells her, the clerk or whatever, officer, he says he finds her dad. Then it cuts off to Frank. He finally goes to Frank can come up with a fake ID real quick, because he goes back to the safety deposit box place, and he's like, oh, I need to open my thing, the box. And they say, okay, what's your name? He says West. So he made a ID saying he was West or whatnot, and they don't know what West looked like. So he got in, goes in there, it's empty, and he's like, can you tell me who was the last person to check and come in here? And they was like, yeah, Laura Castillo. And he was like, about how long ago was that? And it said 3 days ago, y'all. So what in the entire fuck? So I'm like, is Laura really playing them? Is Laura like really working with the feds? Because they mentioned that before. Like, cause the dad said that, like, yeah, she working and she gonna fuck all y'all up. I mean, Laura was saying how she wants to turn everybody in. And I'm like, bitch, your hands ain't clean in all this. But oh my goodness. But okay, so from there, Michaela finds out that her father, and she goes to Annalise, and she's so upset, and she goes and she's crying and shit. She was like, it's all your fault, I hate you. I go there, and it turns out that her father died from a stroke in prison a year before. And she's like, you knew him, and I know you had to have known something. I hate you, I hate you. And she just break down, and Annalise give her a hug because she's just crying like a little baby. So from there, it jumps to whatever, I guess, present day, and Michaela is being interrogated by the feds, and the feds are talking about one of their informants is dead. And then before that, it jumps to, like, the Annalise funeral thing and the casket and the blood, and we don't really know what's really going on. And it says that the feds or whatever interrogating her says that one of the informants, their informant is dead. And then it says that Michaela's hand fingerprints are on the murder weapon, because she was like, how you guys dare y'all bring me in here? I'm about to be a lawyer. And then after they told her that her fingerprints were on the murder weapon, she was like, I want my lawyer. So from there, it goes off, y'all. So the preview that they showed didn't tell us much. So we just gonna have to watch and see what goes on next week. If I left anything out, y'all, sorry, I'm a little tired. Leave it below. I might have left a couple things out, but I think I did a good coverage of this episode. Not a lot happened. It was like just setting stuff up for, I guess, the next episode or next couple episodes, and we'll see how everything plays out. Again, if I left anything out, leave it below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all next time.